in this video, let's talk about how to work with imaginary numbers. We will be able to use the calculator for doing all this work. It can be done with a calculator. The only thing we have to remember is to be in the proper mode, and the proper mode is the a plus bi. So all of our answers, whether we do the work by hand or with a calculator, have to be in the standard form for imaginary number. And that standard form is exactly a plus bi. So there should be some number without the I, some number with the I, and they should be separated by plus or minus. So just for example, let's suppose we have two numbers. The first number is going to be called z, and it is 3 plus 5i, and the second number is w, it is 1 minus 2i. So suppose we have to do the four main operations that we usually do with any other numbers. We add them, we subtract them, we multiply them, and we divide them. So let's do all the four operations and write the final answer in the standard form. When we do the operations, we may treat the I as any other letter. Could be used as X or A or anything else, it doesn't matter. All the properties, all the operations of PEMDAS still work. The only difference is we must remember that I squared is -1. That is a very key fact, and we have to keep it in mind. So each time we come across I squared, it automatically turns into -1. So with that, let's do the operations. So z plus w will be the same as having the z and the w with a plus in the middle. And if we have this expression, then we combine like terms. The like terms are numbers with numbers, so 3 and 1 will make 4, and then the i's with the i's, so here is plus 5i minus 2i, that's make plus 3i, and that is the end. So 4 plus 3i is in the correct form. It is in the a plus bi form, and we're done. Now we can also do this with a calculator. Here, when we do the work, we have to change the mode. Mode have to be in the a plus bi mode. So if it's in real mode, it won't work. It has to be the way this calculator is set here. It must be in the a plus bi mode. So now we can simply type in the question just as it was. So 3 plus 5, and there is an I button where the dot is. So here on the calculator, where the dot is, that's the I button. So if we press the second dot, that's the I. Plus, and then comes the second number, 1 minus 2i, second dot, and hit enter. So here is our answer, 4 plus 3i, 4 plus 3i using calculator, and 4 plus 3i by hand. So this calculator will work for all of our 4 examples. The only thing to remember is if we have to show the work, the only way to do it is the way we're doing it by hand. So if we're subtracting, the same idea works. We write the z, which is 3 plus 5i. We have 1 minus 2i, and we're minusing them. Now we have to be careful because we're minusing the entire number, which means that minus belongs to both 1 and -2i. If we were to simplify it at this point, we would distribute the negative because we would be following the order of operations, and we will be doing the multiplication, that's like multiplying by -1. So 3 plus 5i, and then -1 times 1 is -1. -1 times 2i is plus 2i. So combining like terms, 3 minus 1 makes 2, and 5i plus 2i makes 7i, and we are done. That's the answer in the standard form, and that's all we needed to do. So with the calculator, let's confirm it. So here's the calculator. I'll simply type in second enter that brings back the old line and changes the plus to minus, but I have to remember to put the parentheses. So 1 minus 2i. Now that should be 2 plus 7i. We got the same result. Now the multiplication. This is where it gets a little bit more involved, but it's still the same process as multiplying any other two things with x's in them. 1 minus 2i. So when we're multiplying straight through. Now this really means that we have 3 times 1 minus 2i, and then we have plus 5i times the entire quantity. So we could just split them up and multiply them like this. We'll have to do this one a little bit later. So here comes the multiplication. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times negative 2i is negative 6i. 5i times 1 is 5i. 5i times negative 2i. Now here is where the tricky part comes, because 5 times 2 is 10, minus 10, but then I times I is I squared. So combining like terms, we see negative 6 plus 5i will make minus 1i. But we also remember that I squared makes negative 1. So this is the same as negative 10 times by negative 1. Well, two negatives make a plus. This is the same as 3 minus I plus 10. And 3 plus 10 is 13, which makes 13 minus I as our final answer. So here with a calculator, let's multiply the two, and it's clear. So inside the parentheses, 3 plus 5i times 1 minus 2i, and let's have a look. 13 minus I, we confirmed our result. Now the last is the division. So if we had to divide z by w, that means we have 3 plus 5i divided by 1 minus 2i. And the thing about it is we can't simplify it. There is no way to simplify it. The only thing that could be done is we multiply both top and bottom by the conjugate of the bottom. That means the conjugate is the same as the bottom expression with the opposite sign in the middle. So we're multiplying 1 plus 2i, 1 plus 2i, top and bottom. We'll talk about why we do this in a different video. For now, we'll just do the multiplication to save the time. So now we do the same exact process twice that we just did over here. We multiply them through. So here is 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2i is 6i. 5i times 1 is 5i. 5i times 2i is 10i squared. The bottom, we do the same thing. 1 times 1 is 1. 1 times 2i is plus 2i. Negative 2i times 1 is negative 2i. And negative 2i times 2i makes negative 4i squared. Now, we notice right away that on the bottom, the 2i minus 2i cancels off. And that's very good. That means there will be no more i's on the denominator, because each one of these I squared is now negative 1. So that means we now have 3 plus 6i plus 5i, and then plus 10 times negative 1 is negative 10. On the bottom we have 1 minus, and then negative 4 times negative 1 is plus 4. So that simplifies to 3 minus 10 is negative 7. And 6i plus 5i is plus 11i. I. Now on the bottom we just have 5, 5, 5, and this is our answer in the standard form, in the a plus bi form. So our real number, real part is -7/5. Our imaginary part is 11/5. Now let's do the same with the calculator. And so here's parentheses, 3 plus 5i, then divide 1 minus 2i, and now we're going to get decimals. And all we need to do is convert the decimals into fractions. So we go back to the math, change into the fractions, enter one more time. Here is the same answer, -7/5 plus 11/5 I is exactly what we had doing the work by hand. So this confirms our result with the calculator, and that's how we do the 4 main operations by hand and with the technology. So that's addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division of imaginary numbers. Thanks a lot for your time. Take care.